What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist, it's Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leads Like Sports. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Victor Wembanyama ended up playing basketball. Hopefully you noticed that, toned that play down quite a bit this morning once he went through shoot around. Again, was on the move. Made my way to Vegas here, and hey, I'm on an MGM property, which brings me to BetMGM. Really good stuff here. I love them. I love the Superbook out here too. Really good stuff for anybody in Nevada. You know. But BetMGM, phenomenal stuff here. Up to $1,500 in bet credits when you sign up below. But main thing I'm just going to be utilizing nonstop. I'm going to walk around the sports books. I'm going to shop for the best lines wherever I can find them before I go to the Washington game tomorrow. Looking forward to that one, big time here in Vegas. But in Vegas, you just want to be utilizing Odd Chopper nonstop. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find the best lines here in Nevada. You can do it by state. Everything there. And it's $14.95 now for everything we have here, not just the Discord, not just the tools, but the tools and the Discord together. Again, the Discord itself was $20 a week. The tools exponentially more than that. For $5 less, you're getting it all bundled together. I am so grateful for that. Again, Odd Chopper, it does amazing, amazing work. And as bad as my picks have been the last couple of days, Odd Chopper continues to post out nearly a 4.5%, 5% expected ROI here throughout the NBA season in multiple sports. Market-based approach, back-tested, will end up being the thing that you utilize the most in your process, hopefully more than you'll utilize me. Again, down in the link below, get that for $14.95. And you won't just have me talking, you'll have multiple experts in there firing off picks, letting it be known. So $14.95 for the week, $49.95 for the month. Sign up now. Good times, friends. Alrighty, y'all. 6 NBA games here in the association. I'm obviously going to have to get in some bets here early before I end up going to that football game. Sco Ducks, 8.5. I can get behind 8.5. I can get behind 8.5. It's going to be like 9.5 pretty much everywhere by the time I get over with this. But friends, producer Jacob specifically, you're like a block away or some shit. I miss you, friend. Let's get a drink before the game. Let's get to the picks. Oh, friends, the Washington Wizards are terrible at basketball by now. And then the Orlando Magic continuing to play really, really good basketball. They kick off our coverage of tonight. In terms of adjusted net rating, Orlando sitting at 11th in the association, 3rd in adjusted defensive rating. Love everything that we've seen from them all season long. But the big piece of news here, we got Wendell Carter Jr., Markelle Fultz continuing to be out, but Jonathan Isaac, that's the main guy that threw up. He's questionable with this ankle. It kept him out of last game, hasn't played now since the 24th, so it'll be a week as of now, leading into Friday. Does he suit up? Does he not? That's just a guy who, when you can get 20 minutes out of him, like we've seen a couple of times, that's useful off the bench for sure. He's a great defender, great energy guy, just overall a player that I hope stays healthy for the foreseeable future, because I'd love to see him get up to 20, 25 minutes a game. Does that happen with Orlando? I don't know, because Franz Wagner's been playing absolutely out of his damn mind. But I've got 3 leans, 2 likes, and a lock on today's card. And this one isn't all that appealing, but one thing we've seen a lot is books. They're reacting to what just happened in games because people bet based off of what just happened in last games. In Washington, yes, they bring one of the worst defenses to the table, but it also brings blowout concern into effect. Again, 11-point spread here. Franz Wagner in 31 minutes went completely ballistic the other night against this very same Washington. 31 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and people just saw that. 32.5 is his PRA. It was 30.5 the other night, so yay if you hit the over of that. Could he go over again? Sure, he's now gone over in 4 consecutive games? 4 consecutive games he's outpaced this number, but I don't think he'll do it here, but I'm going to just call it a lean here. Want to pay attention to that news. Jonathan Isaac would actually be an upgrade for this play because, well, that replaces Anthony Black minutes. That replaces other randos, and he can actually do something on a basketball floor that affects PRA. So I've got him closer to 28.5. Again, that's a definite like play for most people, but I'm calling it a lean simply because, well, I know a lot of you don't like unders. This one, I will give the stamp of approval. Philadelphia +7 here, an absolute middle number. Why? Joel Embiid gets ruled out of nowhere, ruins my life, kills me. Not even softly with his song, killing me loudly with his song by sitting out against New Orleans. Tobias Harris. We got all the closing line value in all the world. 16.5, closes at 20.5, 21.5. And you know what? Doesn't even matter. Complete flat higher. Just sucks. Sometimes you can do the right thing, have the right play. Again, it was up to 17.5 before the Embiid news period. So people were obviously interested in it the same way. I like to think I can move markets, but I doubt it. Bet it has to be a lot more than just us firing up that over, and had to be something that the market reacted to move it to 17.5, and for it to close at 20.5, and for him to not even really come remotely close to it was an absolute bummer. But Kelly Oubre, they thought that he might return here on Friday. They're going to push him back a week here for conditioning. That's probably a good thing. You got Nicholas Batum, who ended up dinging himself up, sat out the rest of that last game. And Nicholas Batum, well, he's probable for this one, but I'm burying the lead. Joel Embiid, friends, he's questionable with this illness. My guess is he plays, but I'm not positive. And as such, I think this is just too low of a total regardless of that news. Kristaps Porzingis continuing to be out. Yes, that's one shooter, and I call him a worse defender than an Al Horford from time to time. Maybe doesn't block as many shots, but like Al Horford, there's a reason he is still in the league doing his damn thing, because he can be that guy for you, guarding multiple positions in the pick and roll, creating mismatches, and not creating mismatches, stopping from creating mismatches for teams, because he can guard multiple positions, even at his elder age of I don't know, he's like my age. That's sad to think about. I hope he's older than me. Is he older than 36? Please be older than 36. But as I look at this total, this is the one that I wanted exposure to, 224.5. The second play that I ended up betting as soon as I could here because, well, yay Superbook. Yay BetMGM. Yay for all the great things here in the great state of Nevada. Over 224.5. Muy producer Jacob tells me he's 37. Thank God. Our third game of the night, the Knicks taking on Toronto here. And the Knicks currently playing basketball right now, so I'm going to be paying attention to that. Jalen Brunson going a little nasty in the early portion of this one. But plus 1.5 here, that's as it's in the road in Toronto on a back-to-back. And Toronto, well, this is a team that defensively can bring a lot to the table. You look at their adjusted defensive rate here. They're in the top 15 in the NBA, sitting at 12th, 112.8. Offensively, not a ton to the table, but they've had the 11th most difficult adjusted strength of schedule. You look at something like that, and eventually Toronto, I think, is going to put it together. They're going to be better than 9-10. I do think that they're going to be one of the better teams. Well, not one of the better teams in the East, but for sure an above 500 team in the East, which that basically makes you somebody who avoids the play-in game at this point in time. East, not exactly the West. We'll put it that way. Orlando's 13-5. I just wanted to throw that out there. Looking at the standings, insane stuff. But you know where we're going with this one, right? Now, Julius Randle, I might have missed the boat on the double-double train, although I loved him the other night, just didn't end up pulling the trigger on it. Dennis Schroeder, we've been pulling the trigger on a lot on this program. I have been a little bit more trepidatious here of late, but this is a Knicks team on a back-to-back, and this 216.5 total, I think might give us a little bit of value here, mainly because Dennis Schroeder does a lot to help create. And yes, I shied away the last two games. He ended up going over against Brooklyn, had 23 points plus assists. And then the last game, 8 points, 12 assists. I think you lost by the hook if you ended up firing it up there. I thought both of those might have been efficient, but I think against the Knicks, you're on a back-to-back. Jalen Brunson, that's kind of the avenue you take to beat them on the offensive end of the floor. And Dennis Schroeder, he's going to see this usage. Again, he's just under-projected. The last couple have been a little bit more efficient, but considering it just went under, and people just reacting way too much to what just happened for, what have you done for me lately, or something like that, although I never care. What's going to happen here in this spot, I'm not sure where this number opens, but I want to at least throw up that I'm going to bet him anything up to 21.5 against Brunson, Quickly, and company. That'd be a great law firm. This is the great sportsbook, friends. BetMGM here in the great state of Nevada or Arizona or wherever you might frequent, friends. BetMGM needs to be a part of your portfolio when you're odd shopping. Because why? Well, having exposure to multiple sportsbooks is never a bad thing. I know some people just like the interface of a DraftKings or a FanDuel or something like that. The big ones. I understand you have them, but guess what? BetMGM, Caesars, these other books are trying to compete with them by offering better lines. Hey, come try out our product or try out these bonus bets, things like that. And hey, never a bad thing when you can get a better number, because over any long period of time, saving money, just like using coupons or anything else, that is going to be what defines you as a sports bettor, is finding those small edges time and time again, betting something at minus 105 instead of minus 110. And yeah, My picks been dog shit lately? Yeah, they absolutely have been. But you know what? Eventually, if you trust in me, you're going to see opportunities at the sportsbooks like BetMGM, like Bet365, where the numbers are better. And as such, these swings won't be as severe. You won't have as many problems here in the long term. Again, this is the difference long term of you being a profitable sports bettor or you not being a profitable sports bettor. I know that might sound harsh, but it is the reality of it. Always shop for the best lines available in your area, only if you're 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But check out BetMGM. Think you'll like it. Back to the picks we go, producer Jacob. I don't even know if this requires that much analysis. Memphis plus 10 going up against Dallas, and I get it. It is a wild number to see next to a Memphis team that once upon a time, days of yore, they weren't 4-13. They weren't 14th in the West, but that's where we're at right now. They're not very good. Are they double-digit bad? I don't know. They've had a pretty easy strength of schedule as well. I'm just not sure that we should ever be seeing 10 and a half here going towards the Dallas side. And that's kind of my major gripe here with this number. Sure, there's a litany of injuries. We have Marcus Smart out, Luke Kennard out, John Morant, Dum out, Jake LaRavia out, Xavier Tillman, hey, won't play Wednesday, but questionable going into Friday. I'm going to be watching that practice report. That would be a huge upgrade here at the center position over Bismack Biyombo, who I don't think he's Al Horford's age, but like, he been around the block for a little bit, friends. Bismack Biyombo, he's been in the league for a second. And Dallas, you got a young kid over on the other side of things. Derek Lively, the second, he got back into the fray here. Missed like 2 games it was. Played 28 minutes. Looked good against Houston in that win. Just did enough, but was in foul trouble there. Think with Maxi Kleber out, they're really going to put Rashawn Holmes on the back burner. Only played 13 minutes, and like seeing Derek Lively, he kind of lives up to his name. He's lively out on the floor, does things defensively that Dallas hasn't had in a center in a long time, mainly because Dwight Powell sucks. Sorry to him and his family. He's not good. He's not good at the basketballs. Now, you know who is? Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving. They're obviously the reasons that we have this kind of a number hanging here. But with Tim Hardaway questionable, that's definitely a piece offensively that they would like to have in the mix. Of course, they can stagger minutes with Luka and Kyrie, and I think that happens even more in the event that Tim Hardaway misses this game. But those are just 2 avenues of offense. And defensively, you can scheme against a guy to a certain extent, maybe not like on a football field or anything. Luka Doncic still going to get his. But if you can shut down the other options around him, if Grant Williams can regress from this 43% three-point percentage that he's had for the season now, Derek Jones Jr. sitting around now nearly 40%, 38.1% now on the season, you could end up seeing this be a spot. Not that they struggle. I think they can comfortably win, but 10 is a lot to be hanging up here. Have this closer to the Memphis side here, plus 10. You could wait. I bet the public still bets Dallas no matter what happens here with Tim Hardaway Jr., just throwing it out there, but want to be paying attention to that news, but I was happy to put a small play on Memphis just from the get-go. Might add a little bit more pending Tim Hardaway. The Pelicans, massive favorites here. San Antonio on a back-to-back. I have to check in on this game. This is going to make me upset. I can check my phone here too because I don't have the thing on the TV in the background. It's a whole thing. And how about that Metcalf catch? That made me happy from the get-go. Although I didn't have anything on that game. I thought it was pretty efficient. Where are we at here? Yada, 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 yada. All right, Atlanta, tied, nearly a tie game, 44-42 there. 7 minutes left in the second. Good stuff. All right, we're still within grasp of grabbing that 6.5. That's good enough. But San Antonio, Victor Wembanyama ended up going through shoot-around. Does he play on this back-to-back now that he's off the injury report entirely with the hip issue? I don't know, but it was a hip issue, right hip tightness. Do they show restraint here? I don't know. This is just 11.5 points now that they got CJ McCollum back. So good to see him on the floor, although didn't like them beating up on the Sixers, and that was just a whole thing. That sucked. That was bad. But the thing I'm looking at is Trey Murphy, who is now questionable for Friday's game. This is a player you want getting minutes for the Pelicans. He is a knockdown shooter. He is a great defender. There are lots of really good things that happen with Trey Murphy sharing the floor with Herbert Jones last because they can shut down a lot of dudes. Let CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, Brandon Ingram, and then, of course, Zion Williamson do the damn thing offensively. Getting Trey Murphy off the bench, though, would be a huge boost. Huge boost for them. But again, you don't need much of a boost considering 11.5 point favorites here. I'm just looking at it as a lean. I want to get some clarity to some extent, although if Victor Wembanyama is out, this probably goes to 13.5, 14.5 really damn quickly. Not to be confused with Emmanuel quickly, but I just find this to be a hard number to want to get to in any way, shape, or form, unless you can somehow guess correctly. But this is the best one I have available. Prop's not available here as of yet, but prop coming up here in a second, even though it's not out, because I know where this number is going to open and we are going to jam it. So again, here is how Lindy's leans, likes, and locks works. Leans, things I haven't bet yet. Likes, things that I'll generally have a small play on, or that I'm very, very honest about, saying that you should wait and then you should fire it up at a number that I think might change. Again, people like to bet overs. You can wait on some of your unders for later in the day. You can bet some of those overs, and you know that if somebody else gets ruled out, it's generally a good thing for them. Looking at you, Tobias Harris, you piece of shit. But in this spot, friends, there are no lines out yet. Denver is a 1.5-point favorite going into Phoenix, which is kind of wild. And yet, I can tell you exactly what we're getting here with a guy that we just bet at plus 190 to triple-double, Nikola frickin' Jokic. Obviously, the big news from Denver, it wasn't even on the Jokic side of things in that game. It was getting Jamal Murray back. How many minutes were we going to get out of him? That was always the question. 16, 6, and 6 in just 22 minutes. Unbelievable stuff right from the get-go for Jamal Murray. But here is the big part about why I'm going to fire up anything with a plus sign next to Nikola Jokic tomorrow. 22 to 24 minutes of Jamal Murray is epic. It is fantastic, mainly because Jamal Murray, he will cut into this assist rate more this season than I think he has in seasons past, mainly because Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, they're going to play pick and roll. They're going to have some pick and roll, obviously, with Jokic. That's the primary pick and roll, but like having court time that he's going to spend with Jokic, knowing that Porter Jr. can be that option. We saw him knock down shot after shot after shot, 11 for 17 from the floor, 7 for 12 from 3, 30, 10. Nice timing there, Michael Porter Jr. I don't think it's a coincidence that Jamal Murray on the floor makes this engine go a little bit harder. It is just, that was the difference in the playoffs 2 years ago, not having him. And then last year, you win a title. Pretty sure Jamal Murray on the floor matters a ton, but we look at his assist rate this season, Nikola Jokic, absent and without, and there's just going to be a noticeable difference that you get between the two. This season, sharing the floor, a little bit under a 40% assist rate, but 43.5% on the entire aggregate. I'm looking at the aggregate more for this because he has had early games with Jamal Murray. 43.5% to get to that 10 assist number is far, far, far more attainable with 24 minutes of Jamal Murray than 30 minutes of Jamal Murray. That's why you saw him go ballistic last game. And yes, Jamal Murray, 16, 6, and 6, adding assists himself, but those take away from Jokic in the category that matters the most. Mainly because he has an 11.7% offensive rebound percentage, 31.9% defensive rebound percentage, and points, they have to be the foregone conclusion. God forbid that would be the category that you're worried about at all. He's like minus 50,000 or something if you look at it. I doubt you can even get a 10-point line on a single game parlay in any capacity, but if it has a plus sign, and again, I get to make up the rules. It's my show. I can do whatever I want. Lindy's pick, it is Nikola Jokic to triple-double. I know it's been on the card a lot here as a lean multiple times. I ended up firing it pretty good at plus 190. I think anything with a plus sign here heading to Phoenix in a competitive spot in a game that should be really entertaining, we got to be looking at it. And Aaron Gordon, questionable. We kind of prefer him to be in too. That would be a little bit helpful more towards those assist rates as well. And that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know. Ducks or Huskies? Who do you guys got for Friday? You don't. This is an NBA show. I apologize. But I'm excited to watch some college football. Bet a little college football here while I'm in town as well. Looking forward to it. Producer Jacob, maybe I see you tomorrow. We'll see. Text. I don't know. It's a little creepy throwing it out like that. But anyway, friends, I'm going to get the heck up out of here and go enjoy an evening. Until next time, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Friday.